Rich is the Michigan State University Technology Executive Director and manages the intellectual property strategy and portfolio and leads the licensing and tech transfer activity at Michigan State. He worked as the Associate Director of Technology Transfer at University of Michigan. He's past president of Autumn, and he graduated from the Illinois Institute of Technology. So Rich, take it away.
Thanks very much, Kathleen, and thanks to both you and Tim for inviting me to moderate. Let me just say a couple things about myself, and then I'm going to be happy to introduce our guests, who are really the special folks with all the information for today's conversation. So as Kathleen said, last dozen years or so, I've worked in university tech transfer, but I spent about the first 20 years of my career actually in industry, in the specialty chemical industry. And it's been really exciting to move into the university world, trying to take fresh nascent technologies out of the university and bring them into the public. And so this is one of the key things that our guests who are with us, and they have a special focus. So I'd like to introduce Tonya Witherspoon. Tonya is the Associate Vice President for Industry Engagement and Applied Learning at Wichita State University. And she's joined by Michael Schlotterbeck, who's a Senior Manager at Deloitte. So I'm going to start by asking Tonya and Michael to introduce yourselves a little bit more and about your background. So Tonya, you first.
Good morning, and thank you for hosting this. This is exciting for us to share the Smart Factory at Wichita with everyone. I have worked on and off for almost 25 years at Wichita State University, dipping in and out of industry, as I'm dipping in and out of the screen, in and out of industry, and coming back to do tech transfer, commercialization, applied learning, and connecting our curriculum directly to our industry partners. So that is my big focus, is to bring the industry and community into our campus. We have an innovation campus here where we have lots and lots of activity and lots of industry, and the Smart Factory is one of our newest buildings, and I'm excited to get to work with Michael and his team on this.
Well, hold that thought about the innovation campus, because we're going to get back to that a little bit later on in the talk, because I want to give you a chance to feature and focus on some of the assets that you have there. So Michael, would you like to introduce yourselves a little bit more, please?
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me. My name is Michael Schlotterbeck. I'm a Senior Manager in Deloitte's Smart Factory practice, where I focus primarily on industrial products companies in the aerospace and defense sector, around this whole idea of Smart Factory, Industry 4.0, digital manufacturing, pick your favorite buzzword, that has really kind of spun up over the past 5 years. And before that, I traditionally worked in traditional supply chain type strategy consulting, and also in the aerospace industry directly. What we'll get into a little bit today is a passion project of mine on the side, which is an investment that the Deloitte firm is making in the Smart Factory at Wichita State University.
Thanks very much, Michael, and thanks, Tonya, again, for introducing yourselves a little bit more. So I want to start at the beginning for the benefit of our audience. We have a very diverse audience today. People come from different places. So let's start at the beginning. So what is a smart factory? What's your definition? And if you could give some examples of that, I think that'd be great. Great place to start.
Sure, maybe I'll field that one. For us, a smart factory is essentially a space that brings together digital and physical assets to orchestrate activities or events that improve manufacturing bottom lines, whether that is helping companies better utilize and dispatch very scarce labor resources, whether it's helping folks track inventory and material through the production system to make sure that they're operating as efficiently and as lean as possible. And at the end of the day, a lot of folks are mostly interested in how can they build their products faster, cheaper, safer, and at higher quality. The orchestration of digital and physical helps companies achieve that.
Thanks, Michael. Tonya, anything you wanted to add to that from your perspective?
To me, a smart factory is everything he said, plus the ability for people to envision and immerse themselves in the entire process. So when you're doing change management within, your manufacturing floor, it's hard to imagine what it could look like, and it's hard to know where to start and where to bite off. And so what this smart factory really is doing is allowing us to show people what it could look like, so that they can then focus on the pieces and parts of their industry that they want to get started at. And it's so beneficial for our students and our faculty to be able to have that as like a living textbook. Like, we walk into the smart factory and it is a laboratory space to envision and the future of everything that is imaginable.
It sounds exciting. It sounds like it's a place to play. So for someone
It's-
like myself, who's actually an engineer by training, it sounds like Tinker Toys for guys like me. So
Yeah, it's a little Disneyland, I'll tell you, just a little bit.
Yeah. This it harkens back a little bit. Emron a few months back hosted a Internet of Things Scout Camp, and this very much sounds like where Internet of Things meets manufacturing, and so that's pretty exciting. So let's get specific to the Smart Factory at Wichita State. Can you both describe for me a little bit what that's all about?
Start that one.
Yeah, so I can start that. So the at Wichita or at Wichita State has two meanings. At Wichita, Wichita is a leading manufacturing hub for the nation. We have some of the largest aircraft manufacturing companies here, and small parts supply chain right here in our city. And then you go about further into the region, and we've got a lot more materials and different kinds of manufacturing. So at Wichita means a lot. At Wichita State really means that this smart factory is on the hub of our innovation campus. It joins many other companies that have already established laboratory research and development space on our innovation campus. We have Airbus, Textron Aviation, Spirit, Hexagon Metrology, Dassault Systems, just to name a few. So Deloitte coming in, is really bringing a great powerhouse of opportunity to all the companies that are already here.
And from our perspective, the smart factory at Wichita really hits on three main pillars. One is the demonstration space, which we can talk about a little bit more what's actually going to be in there. But we were finding a lot of our clients, while very interested in digital transformation, it was very hard to describe or have an appreciation for the magnitude of what that meant through PowerPoint slides and other traditional means of communicating those type of values. So we need somewhere where people can actually come and experience and play and be immersed into what we consider to be a smart factory or smart things. It's a little bit more broad than just smart factory, but for branding purposes, it has a little bit of a nice ring to it. Second pillar is around an ecosystem. So it's not just going to be Deloitte. We're actually actively recruiting ecosystem participants to co-locate with us in a space where there's a little bit of coopetition and cooperation to really try to disrupt how industries go to market. We'll dive into that a little bit more later on. But the idea is it's not just going to be Deloitte. We need to bring other participants so that we can have research and development to continue to come up with new ideas and new thoughts that we can get out to the industry. And the third piece, which is kind of a no-brainer for anybody around the university space, is the talent pipeline that we are seeing to deliver the type of projects that we are selling. I bet probably somewhere between 30 to 40% of the individuals that are currently on my staff, their roles did not exist 5 years ago. So for us to be able to continue the pipeline, to be able to deliver these projects, we need a very rich source of talent that kind of blends engineering and business and communication. And we think partnering with an academic institution is the best way to do that moving forward.
Yeah, that's a terrific introduction. And actually, I'm going to peel the onion on that a little bit, because there was a lot there. And I think there's a lot to share with our audience on that. So, I knew about, before I knew about the Smart Factory, I did know that Wichita was really a hub for industry. But Tonya, I admit I was still surprised when you were giving me some of the facts and figures about what's going on in Wichita itself from an industrial base. And maybe if you could just elaborate a little bit on that for our audience, I think that's very impressive.
Certainly. We have per capita, we are number 3 in the nation for engineers. And we're only second, I mean, the 2 people ahead of us are California's Sunnyvale, the Bay Area, which is really focused on software development, and Houston in Texas, which is really oil and gas. So we're number 3 for per capita engineers in the nation. And that surprises a lot of people.
Yeah, myself included.
Yeah, exactly. So what we say is, you know, where engineers are, innovation happens. So a lot of transformation has gone on, you know, through the many years of aircraft manufacturing. And we are right in the middle of it. So, you know, a lot of the work now is very digital transformation, digital twin. We do a lot of that. In fact, there was a big ruckus a couple of weekends ago when we moved a B-1 bomber from Tinker Air Force Base up to Wichita State on the highways, and everybody was posting pictures, and they were on the side waving, and you know, because of course it took up the entire highway, and people had to stop for most of the day. So that was really fun.
Tonya, you want to just name some of just a short list of the names of some of the companies that have a substantial presence in Wichita? Because it is a who's who.
Oh yeah, it is. So we have Bombardier, Learjet, Textron Aviation, Spirit Aerosystems. What am I missing? Airbus. So those are some of the big you know, names of aviation manufacturing. But we also have some other manufacturing. Chance Manufacturing is here, and they make every roller coaster and every Ferris wheel that you've ever been on.
Oh, wow.
Here, yeah, right here in Wichita. Coleman Outdoor Company started here and manufactured for here many years. What are some of the others, Michael?
Vornado.
Oh yeah, Vornado is here. So
Big ass vans.
yeah, that matters a lot today. It's going to be over 100 degrees and it's really hot. So yeah, we have a lot of different manufacturing companies here.
Thanks, Tonya. And you know, Michael, you started talking a little bit about Deloitte's interest, but maybe you could share just a little bit more fully what, you know, why Deloitte entered into this partnership and what Deloitte's hoping to get out of it for yourselves and for your clients.
So when we originally started, I'll kind of maybe break that up into 2 parts there, Rich. The reason we originally started is we do have some clients in the area. I'm actually an alumnus of Wichita State University, got connected with Tonya and one of her colleagues, Debbie Franklin, heard about what they had going on at the John Bardo Center, which is actually Tonya and I are currently setting, with some investments that they had made for laboratories focused on Industry 4.0, things like additive and subtractive manufacturing, reverse engineering, design, robotics and automation. We were able to see a lot of value in the existing infrastructure that Wichita State had already put in place. Probably, and Tonya can talk to us a little bit more than I can, at risk, not sure if they were actually going to have the clientele that they were interested in. Luckily for us, they had already made that investment. So it was very easy for us to kind of start to see the vision of where Wichita State was going. And I immediately started bringing some clients here to go through the experience as it existed then. And what we saw was there was actually a pretty big appetite for that type of immersive demonstration space. Because we were able to convert that, and obviously because we're an industry, so for us sales matter, because we're actually able to convert that to sales, we thought we need to go bigger, thinking more broadly about Wichita State and former President John Bardo, his vision for what the innovation campus could be, bringing a lot of industry players onto campus to physically co-locate. We saw value in that through the ecosystem piece that we're talking about. And Decided just to go much, much bigger, build out our own space, kind of take the reins on recruiting other ecosystem partners in collaboration with Wichita State that are not currently on campus in order to focus very directly on Industry 4.0.
Yeah, and Michael's really talking about one of our national institutes, the National Institute for Aviation Research, that we call NIAR. It was established in 1985 and has over $125 million annual budget, employs 850 research scientists and student laboratory technicians, and our laboratories occupy over 1 million square feet of laboratory space in 6 different locations. So it's quite a big enterprise. This is all in addition to our academic degree programs and our faculty that focus in teaching. So this is in addition, and that's really, I think, what brings a lot of our industry partners in to utilize that space.
Yeah, that's really exciting. This whole blend between academia and industry, but in a very tangible way.